In this video, we're going to talk about Medieval Spawn's brutal new war begin. And it's a continuation exactly where we left off in the last issue. Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of Medieval Spawn, issue number 2, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. So previously in Medieval Spawn sets out on a journey to hunt down the entity known as Abraxas. So we get a little story monologue from Medieval Spawn of history here. The Order, a breakaway faction of the Knights Templar. It was originally formed to combat vampire covenants in eastern Egypt at the end of the 12th century. So we see the Order combating these vampires and they're going at it. While the Templars eventually fell, the Order prospered, expanding its ambitions to destroy all impurities. So as a Hellspawn, Medieval Spawn was particularly reviled, and by this point in his life, he had clashed with several forces several times, especially the Order. Now, nowhere was safe from the Order's influence. Operating in secret, it had spread widely, establishing outposts across the world. But once any army grows past a certain size, it can be difficult to maintain consistent standards. So in this panel right here, we see a conversation between Father Abbot and Brother Dempster. And Brother Dempster tells Father Abbot about Medieval Spawn and his terror in the region, and it's been going on for months, and he wants to go and attack. And Abbot's like, look man, I'm not sure how it was like at your last posting, but you need to understand how things are done over here. We all want to carry out orders, and we all want to carry out our mission. Of course we do. But we need to be realistic about what is possible with the resources we have. This outpost barely has 40 knights available to it. I've heard of this demon slaughtering entire armies single-handedly. It would be irresponsible of us to throw away those lives so recklessly. As you can tell, Father Abbot has been rather complacent around here, and he wants to maintain that way. He's not looking for smoke, he's just looking for peace and wants to maintain that peace. And Brother Dempster's like, okay, Father Abbot, as you wish. And Abbott's like, Brother Dempster, I really like you, and I'm glad that with proper guidance you can go far, so I'm glad you're in agreement. But we see this knight over here, this warrior over, just chiming in, hearing in, but he's not really putting his input right now. So Father Abbot tells Brother Dempster to run along. So Otto Dempster, though, says Medieval Spawn in his monologue, we have not met yet, I would soon come to curse his name. But at that moment, I have more pressing concerns. Abraxas, where is he? As Medieval Spawn stands over this beast, asking him questions. I don't know who the hell that is, and because he doesn't know who the hell that is, Medieval Spawn has no business with him, so he ends him right there. It's the same answer everywhere they went. For 3 months, we have been hunting for Abraxas, the parasite unleashed into our world by Sir Geoffrey Fitzroy. 3 months and not even the slightest trace of this creature. Our patience was growing thin. Yet, if there was one source of solace to be found in our miserable quest, it was Richard, the boy they found in the previous issue that he might even curse, but he regrets taking him along. But we don't know how that story played out. So Medieval Spawn continues. Not only had he proven himself a capable warrior, but he had found a natural home within our number, despite everything that was to come from him. So we see in this panel right here that Richard has visuals and nightmares of what happened to his parents. And Medieval Spawn is there to tell him, like, yeah, I got you back. You're okay? Well, you know, I can't sleep for as long as I can remember. I just can't sleep. I always replay the visions of what happened to my parents and what happened to his family at home. So not a single night had passed where he had not woken up screaming. And Richard tells him in the morning that he's beginning to forget his parents' faces. Well, not his parents, not his mother and father. Their faces are always clear. But his sister, he's worried that soon he'll not only not be able to see them as a person, but he'll be able to see them as those creatures that they turned into, which was covered in issue number 1. So Medieval Spawn's like, look, the pain you feel, you need to understand that destroying Abraxas won't erase it. Yes, says the Richard, but it will help. We shall see about that, but in either case, says Medieval Spawn, I will not worry about forgetting your family. There are a few days when I do not think of my wife and child. I didn't know you had a family, says Richard. Yes, my wife Olivia and our son James. Both were taken by plague. Notice how he said plague. He didn't say plague spawn or the plague. It's just plague. So I wonder if that's foreshadowing of plague spawn, which kind of defeats the theory that I thought Rich was going to turn into plague spawn. But let's see how that turns into, how that story materializes. So Medieval Spawn continues. I was away on a campaign for the king when James was born. He came to the world with fever, and by the time I returned, both he and his mother were gone. He would have been about the same age as you by now. I often wonder what kind of person he would have became if life had given him a fair chance. So John, off panel, we need to talk. And Medieval Spawn goes up to Pearson. What is it? Hey, we've been talking, Medieval, or John of York, that's his real name. And we've been talking, and it's time that we abandon this mission. We've been searching for this creature Abraxas for months now, and we're no closer to finding it than we began. All the while, there are real dangers spreading across the country down south. Every village we stop, we hear worse and worse news about the situations in the south. Our friends there are being slaughtered. Wow, we're up here chasing something that might not even exist. Medieval Spawn's like, of course Abraxas exists. Then where is he, says the team. None of us have actually seen this monster. All we've got to go on is Fitzroy's word, and he was insane. For all we know, he might have imagined the whole damn thing. And Medieval Spawn's like, look, I understand your frustration, but if we don't stop Abraxas, many more will die. The hunt must continue. And for how long we keep doing this, asked the team. Pearson's pissed. I know, says Medieval Spawn. That's why I've decided to visit Bastion. Please tell me you're joking. And Richard's like, who's Bastion? Well, what choice do we have? For God's sake, after what he did at the Ravens. And Richard's like, okay, I got to know who this Bastion guy is. Well, he's a madman. So they're telling Medieval Spawn is a mistake, but Medieval Spawn is thinking perhaps, but drastic options are the only ones we have left. So we go back to that brother who was talking with Brother Abbott, Dempster. And the knight from earlier introducing himself like, hey, look, we haven't met yet, but my name is Sir Trevor. I'm the commander here. Oh, yes, of course. I'm Brother Dempster. They shake hands. So the knight tells him, I couldn't help overhearing your conversation with Brother Abbott earlier. And initially, Dempster's like, look, yes, as it appears, I may have been misinformed about a few things, but Abbott Brown was gracious enough to correct me, so we're good. So Sir Trevor, the commander's like, don't worry, friend. I simply wish to let you know that you're not alone. Indeed, there are many others who share the same view as you. We need to attack. And Dempster's like, well, that is certainly appreciated, Sir Trevor. I would never speak ill of Abbott, of course, but they have been mutterings that a level of complacency has taken root during his time here. And Trevor's like, look, while I pray nightly for Abbott's continued good health, it's comforting to know that if anything regrettable were to ever to befall him, there's someone here who would be able to provide us with the leadership in his stead. So, you already know something's in the works, and they're gonna do it. So in the morning, Medieval Spawn and Pearson and Cuthbert, his partner, they left in the morning. They parted with the promise of joining them once Abraxas had been dealt with. Though Medieval Spawn didn't realize it then. That morning would be the last time they ever saw each other, and he never got the chance to tell Pearson that maybe he was right about all this, but too late for that, because they're already there. So they go up to this cliff, and Medieval Spawn puts his sword to the ground, and this opening is created in this mountain. So Medieval Spawn's like, we will need to continue on foot. The horses are gone, alright? So whatever force happens, it knocks Medieval Spawn back. And Bastion comes out, and he ain't looking too happy right now, but whatever they need him for, they need him. And I want to take this moment to say that this video is sponsored by coffee. So if you'd like to buy a boy a cup of coffee, link in description, or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to RatedComics YouTube channel. But with all that being said, let's get back into the content. So now we see Brother Dempster giving a speech, and we see Brother Abbott, well, you know, with something regrettable that happened to him. So Abbott Brown was so sorry that he could not say goodbye himself, but he was called away abruptly, if you will. He asked me to pass on his deepest thanks to you. Now we have much work to do. For too long, Satan's beasts have been allowed to roam free, defiling our lands, terrifying and murdering our people. It ends today. Today we commit ourselves to the Order's new mission. We will cleanse this world of every vile infernal creature that has been unleashed of it, starting with the Hell Spawn. And that is the end of Medieval Spawn. Issue number 2, where Medieval Spawn's brutal new war begins, because 1, Brother Abbott is out the picture, and 2, who the heck is this Abraxas, and how is this going to come about? So what you guys think of this comic book, comment below, let me know. And also link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print rated comic exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Till the next upload.